What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, here to give you my analysis and takeaways video for this week's game, Week 1 versus ECU. And, first let me start off by saying I understand it is ECU, not exactly the biggest juggernaut, but I really feel as though, I was kind of not nervous that I felt that we're going to lose the game, but more nervous of it just being the first game of the season, high expectations. I was concerned of us not coming out, being sharp, being kind of flat, and, not playing up to as well as we could be capable of doing. Plus, finding out that there was a lot of players that were scratches from this game and didn't play at all, or they did play but were in limited capacity. So, all that being said, I still felt as though we came out and played well. Obviously, not the score that I would have anticipated. I thought that we would score more, but I think with this new rule change, which is kind of underrated, with this whole thing with the running clock now, I think that scoring will probably be down all across the board for college football this season and going forward if they keep the rule as it is. I just see it being, because the clock is no longer being stopped on first downs until like 2 minutes left in the half and stuff like that, you're going to see, the amount of possessions and the amount of plays per game be drastically reduced just because of this. So just look out for that. If you see scoring being down a little bit over the course of the year, that's why it is. So that being said, I felt, I'm going to start with the offense. JJ looked really, really sharp. Once again, yes, it is ECU, but he looked very, very sharp. He looks much improved as far as his accuracy, his touch, his decision making. So I can see where everyone is saying, he has stepped up and improved from last season. It took him, that full season to really get into the swing of things because, he didn't have a spring because of his shoulder injury. And then once everything started for the season, he was battling Cade for that starting job, so he wasn't playing knowing that he was the number one guy. So all of that had bearing on his performance and stuff like that. But now, coming into this season, with him knowing he's the bona fide starter, no looking over your shoulder or feeling that you got to battle another guy out for a position, he looked really good. Throwing on the run seems to always have been his bread and butter, and he showcased that this game. Basically all 3 touchdown passes on the run, scrambling, all the Roman Wilson for whatever reason. But he looked really good. So it's going to be interesting to see, going forward, how well he's going to do, being the bona fide starter. And, I want to see how well he's going to perform, given that he's had the full spring. He's got a new quarterbacks coach that he, 100% believes in. And, one thing I am going to say also while I'm on this topic of that, it was very good to, he went 26 of 30 for 280, 3 touchdowns. But it was the amount of times that he passed that I was really, really intrigued with. The offense, I don't know if it's because it was ECU or if this is going to be the norm, was a little bit more pass heavy than has been in previous years. So obviously not exactly the greatest for Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, but obviously they're going to get their touches. Every game is going to be its own thing in itself. There might be games where they're going to have to lean heavy on the run. There might be games where they have to lean heavy on the pass. But it was good to see going into halftime the amount of passes that JJ had thrown. I can't remember off the top of my head how many it was, but when I did look at the box score and saw how many passes he threw in a half, I was like, man, that's normally what they would normally. That's probably more than what they would usually do in a whole game last year. So it looks like they're emphasizing passing the football a lot more, which is very promising. Why? Because the whole thing, even though for the most part teams weren't able to do it, was the game plan. Okay, we're going to stop Michigan from running the football. We're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. We're going to force them and beg them to throw the football and dare them to do that. And, you could quote unquote say that worked when Ohio State was doing that, but it ended up backfiring as far as, JJ making huge plays down the field. So watching this game, seeing them throw the football more is just going to open up the run game more. Because the game plan, I'm pretty sure, is going to be for all teams is to do exactly what Ohio State did. Dare us to, crowd the line, try to stop us from running the football. But if JJ's picking you apart, hitting you with huge plays down the field, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't afford to blitz if you're going to get burned on one-on-one. So I think if they keep up this game plan of being a little bit more pass heavy and be very accurate and pinpoint what they're passing, teams aren't going to be able to afford the luxury of trying to crowd the line or blitz or run blitz and do all these things because they're just going to get burned. So I really, really hope that we keep up the consistency with this passing game. Like I said, it is ECU, so that could be part of it. But I'm still pleasantly surprised by the amount of passing that went on in this game. So it was a little bit, obviously with JJ passing for the 280, the running game kind of suffered. But I'm okay with that. Things will pick up for that. I'm not concerned about that, really. These guys are going to get their yards, they're going to get their plays, they're going to get their touches. Interesting thing, a couple of things I did see was there was a few plays where both Donovan and Blake were in the backfield together. And it was actually that both of them went out on routes. So that's going to be interesting to see if they keep up that wrinkle. Because I know, especially with Donovan, who's going to be able to cover him out of the backfield? That's going to be a nightmare. Especially if you have Blake in there as well. Now we don't know, are they going to pass? Are they going to run? Are they both going to go out on routes? So that is going to be an interesting thing. Now, the defense, obviously, overall, the defense played well, but I'm still concerned about the fact that it was ECU and we didn't get any sacks. So I'm really concerned about that. The pass rush has to be better than that. I mean, that goes without saying. And if I'm going to say, oh, it was only ECU for the offense, I can't give the same excuse for the defense. Because if it's just, it was only ECU, we should have been getting like a whole ton of sacks. And I saw pressure. Don't get me wrong. I saw a lot of pressure. Pressure led to the interception by Mikey. But still, we should be getting at least a few sacks, on the defense. But overall, they played well. Gave up 3 points at the end. you know, that was kind of like charity. Obviously, they got it on, you know, the second stringers and not against the starters. If we played the starters for the whole game, I doubt they get the 3 points. But whatever, it's not that important. What is important is that the guys get their reps, they play well, and you know, just try to get into a nice flow, and a nice rhythm. Don't get into any bad habits playing these weaker opponents, and just take it 1 week at a time. So I'm satisfied with how well the defense played. Like I said, just my own concern is, you know, not getting any sacks. I mean, they did force a turnover, so I'm happy with that, but we got to improve on that. So, and special teams, concerned about the kicking game. That's going to be a concern. I mean, we've been spoiled with Money Moody for these past few years, so our new place kicker, you know, miss a couple of field goals, I think, miss an extra point. So I got to go back and watch the replay of the game, because the stream that I watched was kind of iffy. So I kind of missed some plays. You know, the stream was freezing up. First of all, the main stream that I watched didn't even work for the whole entire game for whatever reason. But it is what it is. But that is reason for concern. I mean, he did hit a 50-yard field goal to end the half, in the first half, which is good. So he has the range, obviously. He has the ability. But, you know, can we really count on him in clutch situations? So that's a reason for concern. We just have to play that one by ear, see how things go over the course of the year. Hopefully, you know, he'll get better, and that won't even be a concern anymore. We just have to wait and see on that. So it's on to next week. You know, I can't remember who the next coach is going to be for this quote-unquote coaching carousel while Harbaugh's gone, but I don't think it's really even going to matter. But we just have to play it one game at a time, see if we can improve upon the stuff that we didn't do well this game, and build upon the stuff that we did do well, and just maintain that or and try to improve that. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video if you like the video, if you really appreciate the content. Let me know how you felt about the game in the comment section below. Share this video with as many people as possible. And if you like the content, definitely subscribe to the channel. Thank you for those who did already subscribe to the channel or are new to the channel. I really appreciate that. Try to, you know, let people know if they're also Michigan football fans about the channel. I try to do as many videos as I can during the week. You're guaranteed to get at least 2. One before the game, one after the game. I try to also do one in the middle of the week. That's just dealing with general Michigan topics. Or it could be dealing with college football in general. So I try to do at least 3, could be 4, just depending if I have the time or not. So anyways, thank you for watching the video. And as always, go blue.